Hello, my practical people, and welcome back to my channel, The Practical Therapist. For today's topic, I will continue to discuss autism. Today, I will discuss another red flag, which is considered an atypical behavior or observation that may indicate the presence of autism. I will also discuss a technique that I have developed and implemented with families of children with autism over the years with the goal of increasing the child's attention to his or her name. So let's first discuss what it means when a parent tells me this: my child seems to be in their own world. When it comes to a child that either has a diagnosis of autism or is suspected of having autism, I hear this comment a lot from parents and caregivers. One of the frustrations that parents often mention to me is the frustration of trying to get their child to play with other kids, look at them when they call their child's name, or even stop a preferred activity, such as scrolling on a phone or tablet, long enough for their child to engage with other people or objects in their environment. With that being said, let's discuss why this is so prevalent. In a previous episode, I discussed the lack of social interaction or limited social communication and engagement as a hallmark of autism. With that in mind, consider that your child is happy or satisfied with their level of social engagement that they give and receive. So, for example, if your child prefers to sit alone and scroll on a phone or tablet, laughing or babbling at funny YouTube videos, then the video is providing the child with a level of social stimulation that fits their needs. However, as a practical therapist, I do think about the dangers of a child not responding to his or her name or ignoring their name being called, which is how some parents describe it to me. Having the ability to recognize and respond to one's name is important for a variety of reasons, such as, for example, if your child gets too close to a hot object like a stove or a dangerous animal, such as an unfamiliar dog that is showing signs of aggression like barking or growling. Therefore, when I talk with parents about their child not answering to his or her name, my first goal is to work on improving their child's attention to his or her name. Next, I will talk about the strategy I use where auditory stimuli is introduced to stimulate a child's attention to their name. However, before I talk about the strategy, I want to define what auditory stimuli is. The word auditory relates to the ability to hear. From a basic physiological standpoint, the word stimuli relates to a noticeable change or changes in an individual's or an organism's reaction to their environment. So, next, I will give an example of how I use this strategy in a patient's home. When it comes to targeting a child's ability to recognize an answer to his or her name, these are the steps that I train the parents to implement. 1. I use my cell phone and navigate to the record button, making sure the volume is turned all the way up. 2. Next, I will press record and say the child's name loudly, followed by 2 loud hand claps. 3. Afterwards, I will play back the recording to make sure it works. And number 4, lastly, I will sit near the child or follow the child around the home from about 1 to 2 feet away and play the voice recording behind the child, being mindful of any noise sensitivities that the child may have. And this is where I observe and record their reaction. Now, keep in mind, the reaction that I'm looking for can be something as simple as the child briefly stopping a preferred activity that they're engaged in and looking up and pausing to show and indicate that they heard something different. That would be the initial reaction to the auditory stimuli, perhaps the hand claps over the child's name. However, over time, the goal is for the child to listen more for their name and for those auditory prompts to be faded out, meaning you can get to the point where you can just call your child's name and not have to play a noise or make a noise behind their name in order to get their attention. But at times, I do have some children that have ignored the recording. Thereby, I usually will have to play the recording near one of their ears to get a pause or a brief moment where the child stops what he or she is doing to acknowledge what they have heard. However, many times playing the recording 1 to 2 feet away from the child has been sufficient in order for me to get the desired reaction from the child. It should be noted that before playing this type of recording, it would be ideal if the environment is quiet so that the recording is not being drowned out by other types of noise or stimuli, such as TV shows or music playing in the background. Now, before we end today's video, I'm going to also show you a demonstration of what this looks like and let you listen to an actual recording for a patient that I evaluated several months ago. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And again, go back and re-record this, listen to it as many times as possible. And I hope you find this helpful. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, guys, so here is a demonstration of how I would do the auditory stimuli paired with a child's name. First thing I'm going to do is have my phone, make sure the volume's turned all the way up. So make sure you definitely want to check your volume. Here, I can tell that all my volume settings are all the way up. And then next, I'm going to go to my recording app here. And I would say, for example, let's say the child's name is James. I'm going to say his name, and then I'm going to do 2 hand claps like this. James. And then what I will do is play it back to make sure that it was recorded successfully. James. And you want them to be a little bit closer together so that you have the child's name and then the stimuli right behind it. So I'm actually going to record that again. James. All right, let's play that. James. And that is how you would work on, again, getting your child to briefly attend or acknowledge this sound, their name, again, with some type of auditory stimuli, preferably a hand clap, to get your child to pause, stop, and acknowledge that they heard something different. So again, I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you guys in my next video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you soon.